There comes a moment in life when the noise fades just enough for you to hear something uncomfortable, something real. It's the quiet realization that you are not living your own life, but rather fulfilling a role in someone else's story. At first, it doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in slowly. You notice how your daily routine revolves around meeting expectations that were never truly yours. The goals you chase don't excite you anymore. They simply exhaust you. You wake up, follow the same pattern, tick the same boxes, and go to sleep feeling like something is missing, but you can't quite name it. Then one day, it becomes clear. You've been building someone else's dream while your own has been left behind, unattended and slowly fading. This realization is not dramatic or loud. It's subtle, almost painful in its calmness. You begin to see the signs you ignored for years. The moments when you chose obligation over passion. The times you silenced your inner voice because it felt inconvenient. You remember the dreams you once had, clear, vivid, full of energy, and compare them to your current reality, which feels heavy and disconnected. It's not that you're unsuccessful. In fact, you might be doing quite well by society's standards. But success without alignment feels empty. You start to question everything. How did I get here? When did I stop choosing myself? Why does this life, which looks right from the outside, feel so wrong on the inside? At the core of this realization is a painful truth. You adapted too well. You learned to meet expectations, to be reliable, to be useful. You became what others needed you to be. And in doing so, you slowly distanced yourself from who you actually are. It didn't happen overnight. It was a series of small decisions, saying yes when you wanted to say no, choosing safety over risk, prioritizing approval over authenticity. Each compromise felt harmless at the time, even necessary. But over time, those compromises accumulated, and now you find yourself living a life that no longer reflects your inner desires. What makes this realization even more difficult is the sense of guilt that comes with it. You tell yourself that you should be grateful. After all, you're contributing, you're helping, you're being responsible. You've made sacrifices for people you care about, and that matters. But deep down, there's a quiet resistance, a feeling that something isn't right. And that feeling doesn't go away. It lingers in moments of silence, in late nights when you're alone with your thoughts, in the subtle envy you feel when you see others chasing their passions. You don't want to admit it, but a part of you wonders what your life would look like if you had chosen differently. Alongside this realization comes another painful shift. Your passion begins to fade. The things that once excited you no longer hold the same energy. It's not that you've lost your ability to dream. It's that your dreams have been neglected for so long that they've grown quiet. Passion requires attention, time, and belief. When you constantly invest your energy into fulfilling others' expectations, there's little left for your own aspirations. You become efficient at what you do, but not fulfilled. You perform well, but you don't feel alive. This fading of passion is often misunderstood. People think it means they've grown out of their dreams or that their interests have changed. But in many cases, it's not growth. It's suppression. Your passion didn't disappear. It was buried under layers of responsibility, fear, and distraction. Every time you chose to prioritize something else over what truly mattered to you, you pushed your passion a little further away. Over time, it became harder to access. It stopped feeling urgent, then stopped feeling possible, and eventually, it stopped feeling real. There's also a deep exhaustion that comes with this state. You convince yourself that this is temporary, that one day you'll return to your own dreams, but that day keeps getting pushed further away. Loyalty becomes the excuse you use to justify your inaction toward your own life. You tell yourself that walking away or even stepping back would make you selfish, ungrateful, or disloyal. And so you stay, even when staying is costing you your identity. The most painful part of this confusion is that it doesn't feel wrong in the beginning. Society often praises sacrifice. People admire those who give endlessly, who put others first without complaint. You receive validation for your selflessness, and that validation reinforces your behavior. It makes it harder to question whether what you're doing is actually healthy. But deep inside, there is a quiet discomfort, a sense that something is off. True loyalty should not require you to abandon yourself. True care should not demand that you disappear. As time passes, you begin to notice the imbalance. You are constantly pouring into others, but very little is poured back into you. Your energy is being spent, your time is being consumed, and your dreams are being delayed, all in the name of loyalty. And yet, the more you give, the less connected you feel to yourself. You start to realize that you have been loyal to others, but disloyal to your own soul. You have honored everyone else's path while neglecting your own. This realization brings with it a heavy emotional weight. You may feel resentment, not necessarily toward others, but toward the situation you've created. You might feel frustrated that no one noticed your silent sacrifices, or that no one told you to slow down and take care of yourself. But the truth is, most people accepted what you offered because you made it seem like you could handle it. You taught them that your needs could wait, that your dreams were secondary. And now breaking out of that pattern feels incredibly difficult because it requires redefining not only your boundaries, but also how others perceive you. Letting go of this false sense of loyalty is not easy. It requires you to challenge deeply ingrained beliefs about who you are and what your role should be. It forces you to confront the fear of disappointing others and the discomfort of being seen as someone who is no longer always available. But in doing so, you begin to understand that choosing yourself is not betrayal. It is necessary. You cannot continue to give from an empty place. You cannot build a meaningful life by constantly neglecting your own needs. At the same time, another subtle but powerful shift happens within you. Your dreams begin to feel distant, almost foreign. The things that once felt natural to you now seem unfamiliar. You think about your passions, your goals, your vision, and instead of excitement, you feel hesitation. It's as if you're looking at someone else's life rather than your own. This distance is not because your dreams have changed, but because you've been disconnected from them for so long that they no longer feel like a part of you. This sense of unfamiliarity can be deeply unsettling. You start to question whether those dreams were ever real, whether they were practical, or whether they even matter anymore. You might tell yourself that you've outgrown them, that they were just fantasies of a younger version of you. But beneath these rationalizations is a quieter truth. You didn't outgrow your dreams, you drifted away from them. And now returning to them feels uncomfortable because it requires you to step into a version of yourself that you've neglected. There is also fear in this distance. When something becomes unfamiliar, it also becomes uncertain. You're no longer sure how to pursue your dreams, where to start, or whether you're still capable. The confidence you once had has been replaced with doubt. You wonder if it's too late, if you've missed your chance, if the path you didn't take is now closed. These thoughts can be paralyzing, keeping you stuck in the same cycle even as you become more aware of it. But this feeling of distance is not permanent. It is a result of neglect, not loss. Just as a muscle weakens when it's not used, your connection to your dreams weakens when it's not nurtured. And just like that muscle, it can be strengthened again with time, effort, and consistency. The key is to stop viewing your dreams as something foreign and start recognizing them as a part of you that has been waiting patiently. Reconnecting with your dreams requires more than just thinking about them. It requires intention. It means creating space in your life where your own desires are not an afterthought. It means allowing yourself to imagine again without immediately shutting those thoughts down with doubt or fear. It means taking small steps, even if they feel insignificant at first, to remind yourself that your dreams are still within reach. As you begin this process, you may feel a mix of emotions: excitement, fear, guilt, and uncertainty all at once. That is natural. You are stepping out of a pattern that has defined your life for a long time. You are choosing to shift your focus, to reclaim your energy, and to invest in yourself again. And while it may feel uncomfortable, it is also deeply necessary. The distance between you and your dreams is not a sign that they are gone. It is a reflection of where your attention has been. And as you slowly bring that attention back, you will begin to feel something you haven't felt in a long time. A sense of connection, of purpose, of possibility. There is a quiet habit that seems harmless at first, but slowly becomes one of the most destructive patterns in a person's life. The constant act of saying a later to your own dreams. It rarely feels like a conscious decision. Instead, it hides behind logic, responsibility, and timing. You tell yourself that now is not the right moment, that you need to stabilize things first, that once certain responsibilities are handled, you'll finally give your dreams the attention they deserve. It sounds reasonable. It feels responsible. But what you don't realize is that a later is not a plan, It's a delay that slowly turns into denial. Each time you choose to postpone your own goals, you create a subtle distance between who you are and who you want to be. The first few times, it doesn't feel significant. You believe you're in control, that you can return whenever you want. But over time, those small postponements begin to accumulate. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and suddenly the version of yourself that once felt so clear becomes harder to recognize. No, the dream doesn't disappear instantly. It fades gradually, like a voice that becomes quieter the longer you ignore it. What makes this pattern so dangerous is how justified it feels. You convince yourself that you're being practical, that you're prioritizing what truly matters in the moment. And sometimes those responsibilities are real and unavoidable. Life does demand sacrifice. But the problem arises when your own dreams are always the thing that gets sacrificed. When elation becomes your default response, you begin to build a life where your aspirations are permanently placed on hold. There is also a psychological comfort in saying elation. It allows you to avoid risk, uncertainty, and failure. As long as you don't fully commit to your dreams, you don't have to face the possibility of not succeeding. Elation becomes a protective shield, keeping you in a space that feels safe and predictable. But that safety comes at a cost. It keeps you stuck in a cycle where you are constantly preparing for a future that never actually arrives. Deep down, a part of you knows this. You feel it in moments of stillness when you realize that time is moving forward regardless of whether you are ready or not. You begin to notice how often you've pushed your own desires aside. You start to question whether you're truly waiting for the right time or simply avoiding the discomfort that comes with change. And this awareness can be unsettling because it forces you to confront a difficult truth. No one is going to come and create the perfect moment for you. If you keep waiting, you may end up waiting forever. Alongside this pattern of postponement comes another painful experience, the feeling of being constantly busy yet deeply unfulfilled. You fill your days with tasks, responsibilities, and obligations. You are always doing something, always moving, always engaged. From the outside, it looks like productivity, it looks like progress. But internally, there is a sense of emptiness that you cannot ignore. This is because busyness is not the same as purpose. You can spend your entire day working, helping, contributing, and still feel like you've accomplished nothing meaningful for yourself. When your time and energy are entirely consumed by things that do not align with your deeper aspirations, you begin to lose your sense of direction. You are active, but not fulfilled. You are occupied, but not satisfied. The exhaustion that comes from this kind of busyness is different from normal tiredness. It is not just physical, it is emotional and mental. You may go to bed feeling drained, not because you worked hard, but because none of that effort felt connected to who you truly are. It's the kind of fatigue that makes it harder to even think about pursuing your dreams, let alone act on them. You tell yourself that you're too tired, that you'll focus on yourself when things slow down, but things rarely slow down. There is also a subtle loss of identity that occurs in this state. When your time is entirely dedicated to fulfilling external demands, you begin to lose touch with your own interests, passions, and desires. You forget what excites you, what motivates you, what makes you feel alive. Your life becomes a series of tasks rather than a meaningful journey. And the more you stay in this cycle, the more normal it begins to feel. At some point, you may start to question why. Despite being so busy, you don't feel fulfilled. You might look at your life and see that you are doing everything you're supposed to do, yet something is missing. This realization can be confusing because it challenges the belief that hard work alone leads to satisfaction. The truth is, hard work only feels rewarding when it is directed towards something that matters to you. Breaking out of this cycle requires a shift in how you view your time and energy. It means recognizing that being busy is not an achievement in itself. It means understanding that your time is not just a resource to be given away, but something that should also be invested in your own growth and happiness. It means questioning whether the things that fill your day are actually bringing you closer to the life you want or simply keeping you occupied. There is also a need to confront the discomfort that comes with prioritizing yourself. For someone who is used to constantly saying yes to others and postponing their own needs, choosing to focus on their own dreams can feel unnatural, even selfish. You may feel guilty for taking time for yourself, for setting boundaries, for stepping away from certain responsibilities. But this guilt is often a result of conditioning, not truth. Taking time for your own aspirations is not a betrayal of others. It is a commitment to yourself. As you begin to shift away from constant postponement and empty busyness, you may notice a change in how you experience your time. Even small moments dedicated to your own goals can bring a sense of fulfillment that was previously missing. You start to feel more connected to yourself, more aware of your direction, more in control of your life. The noise of constant activity begins to quiet, and in that quiet, you rediscover what truly matters to you. The habit of saying a later loses its power when you decide that your dreams deserve attention now. Not someday, not when everything is perfect, but in the present moment. And the cycle of busyness begins to break when you stop measuring your worth by how much you do for others and start valuing what you do for yourself.